Hello there, and welcome to this new and exciting tutorial. And in this tutorial, we are going to be learning how to use Botpress to build an AI bot. Now you'll need to register at Botpress. So you'll basically use your email and then a password, and then it will bring you to this home page. So we have two nodes to begin with. You notice we have the start node and then we have the end node here. And basically this is the beginning and the end of your conversation. So on the top right hand side, we have the dashboard and the chatbot settings here, where you can also import or export from the file. And then at the right hand side here, this is where you see the main workflow properties. So in this tutorial, we are going to be creating a very basic chatbot that guides your users, maybe when planning for an event. And so to create a new node, you simply right click, and then you notice we have standard node, trigger, end, and comment. So you click on standard node. So it will create a node there. And so to make sure that you know what your node is, you simply can rename it. So you want the first thing that your chatbot will do, maybe you want it to greet the user. So on our standard node here, we will just give it the name. Instead of standard node, we just give it greetings. That's the name we are going to give it. How do you want the chatbot to greet your clients? So you come to the right hand side here, and then you notice we have so many things we can add, either messages, execute, flow logic, or artificial intelligence down here. So for greetings, we want to use text or a message. So you drag that card and drop it to greetings. So on the right hand side, this is how or where you type your greetings. How do you want your chatbot to greet your people or to greet your clients? So I'll type here, hello there. Then we are going to call maybe our chatbot Lanet. I am Lanet, your chatbot assistant. So now we have added the greetings. We want to add a logic here. So if I come to the right hand side again, you notice down here we have the flow logic, and we can use the expression there. So we just drag it and drop it there so that this will always be the card. So you notice here the label is always, and then the condition is under true. So those will be the greetings. So we can now send the question that will be asked here. So we want to add another card. So we come to the right hand side again, add text and drag that card. And so after the greetings, we want this to be the next thing that will be asked. For instance, we want the chatbot to ask, how many people will be attending your event? That will be the question that will be asked to the people or to the person by the chatbot. So notice we have the card for greetings, and then we have the card for the question. Then we are now going to create another card, standard node, and we are going to call this one user input. So here we can now add another card. So when we come to the right hand side here, we want to add the right thing. In this case, we don't want to add a message. We want to add a number. So we scroll down here and add the card number. So we added the question here at first, but you can still drag this card and drop it in the second card. So that is still allowed. So which question will be asked to your people here? This is the question that we want to be asked. So we can copy this question, and then we click on number, and then question to ask the user. We can now put the question there instead of having it here in the beginning. So we can now delete it from the top here, so that for the user input, they'll only see the question. And then down here for the result in, you can create a variable, and a variable here will be where this data will be stored, so that later on in the conversation, your bot will be able to access your information. So we are going to put this variable, and we are going to create a new variable, and we are going to call this variable user data, so that now the user data here will be based on the question asked here. And then now we can drag this below here, but remember you can place it anywhere else, so that from the greetings we'll go to user input. Now we want, after now the user has put their details here, we can give them options to select here. So we want to use different answers for the top part here. So the user can put different data here, but because we want to use the chatbot, we want to give the limits. So we'll come back here, and then up for the flow logic, we can add intent. We drag that and drop it, so that now here we can say the intent is, so the intent is here, the user puts 0 to 20. So that is now the intent 1, but we can also add another one here, intent 2. So we want the second intent here, we drag, then we can put the intent there. User puts more than 20, and we can still keep on adding even the third one and the fourth one there. So again, we come to the logic flow, and then we can add the expression there, so that it can be always. So that is it. So now it means that after greeting the client, after your chatbot greets the client, and the client gets this question here, how many people will be attending your event, the client will either put between 0 to 20 or more than 20. We can still add more if we want, maybe more than 40 or between this number. We can change all this. So after that, now what do we want to suggest to them? So we want to suggest that if the user suggests or puts between 0 and 20, we can suggest them to use a restaurant. So that's what we are going to do. So we are going to create a standard node again here, and then we are going to call this first one here restaurant. And then for the restaurant here, we can add the card. What do we want to add? We want to add a text. So we drag that. So what will be suggested? So maybe we want to write or okay for a, then we want to select the number here, maybe so that the person who selected 20 gets the answer for the exact number they selected. For a, then you select art, then you select the string. So you type art, then you put workflow user data number. So you notice now here, this at workflow.userdata, here it will be the number that the user will have put here. So we want to put the first message here, and so we are saying we are going to put aha for a, then we quote the number, we put art, then because we want the chatbot to use the data from the user input, we put user input. You see this where we have it from the workflow. Then we can put use a hotel. So, but remember, we still have this one for above 20. We can still do the same. So if we click on this, copy, and then we paste it. So you notice now it has the same data here, but we only want to change this part for restaurant. If it's more than 20, we want them to use a mini field that way. So you notice now we have those two suggested. So now how do we now connect all this so that it will move from greetings to the user being asked the question on how many people are there, to the user now selecting and then getting the suggestions for these two. So actually, let's rename this standard 2 and call it mini field. To connect the nodes, you simply click on that node area and then you drag it to the card. You now notice our card, this first card here for greetings, has been linked to the user interface. But then down here, we have the node for 1, that is 0 to 20, and we have the user who may put more than 20. So we need to put 2 separate nodes for this one. So for the first one, we are going to drag it to the top there so that those who select 20 will be led to the restaurant, and those who select this one will be led to the mini field. So after that, now you notice we have our end here. We can drag it down here to just make it nicely flow. So for the conversation end, that is where now you put your variable on how your conversation will end. So if I click on that, you can now type the label there, and then you can simply add what you want. You simply type maybe thank you and all the best. Drag that, put it there, and then it will lead to the end. We drag that node to link to the end, and then we come to the mini field here. we add an expression again to be always. So we want even those who select the mini field to get the same message that we added. You drag that and put it to the end. So you now notice we have our nodes added. And so now our chatbot looks like this. So that is simply how you can create a chatbot. And if you want to try your chatbot, you can just do that on this right hand side, so that if it has any errors, you can just correct them. I hope this has been helpful. Kindly like this video, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.